Привет, дорогие друзья, меня зовут Ира, и мы продолжаем с вами изучать вот такой вот очень интересный проект под названием «Притча о Стэнли». Ну, не совсем проект, скорее мод для Half-Life 2, который уже стал самостоятельной игрой. И в прошлый раз мы с вами обнаружили, что наши коллеги куда-то пропали, вот, а мы с вами обыкновенный человек по имени Стэнли, который просто нажимает на кнопки и ничего не делает, и на самом деле... важного, и живет совершенно обыкновенной, планктонной жизнью обыкновенного офисного работника. Ему это все надоело, и он решил, во-первых, узнать, куда делись его коллеги, во-вторых, может быть, как-то побороть и изменить ситуацию. Да, мы с вами тоже налево в прошлый раз не пошли, а пошли вот сюда. Я хочу...
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
В прошлый раз мы пошли с вами прямо, а сейчас я хочу сходить налево.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Так, у нас два, смотрите, пути, либо прям туда пойти, либо вот здесь вот на лифте, я так поняла, да? Так. Давайте опять против системы пойдем. Или пойдем туда. Ладно, давайте сюда, а потом сходим. Сколько ходов, боже мой. Так, нет, здесь все закрыто. Так, тогда пошли сюда.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Здесь, видимо, какие-то проходили обсуждения, собрания. Чьи-то слайды по-прежнему запущены.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Наверх кабинета начальника. Ну хорошо, пошли наверх. Так, это туалет. Это место секретаря. Даже секретаря на месте нету. Что-то небывалое.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Но здесь вариантов нету. Остается зайти сюда. Так. И вот еще какой-то лифт.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Так, а куда это нас привело?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Станция
Facility.
управления сознанием. Отлично. Ну правильно, мы же пошли ведь действительно по... два раза мы сделали выбор, тот, который нам предлагался. Поэтому, соответственно, мы попадаем, естественно, в центр управления разумом. Нажимать, не нажимать. Нажимать, не нажимать. А ничего не остается.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Так, ничего не остается. Пошли. Интересно, что это за кнопка с видеокамерой какими-то?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ого, ничего себе. Обалдеть. Я думаю, что где-то здесь, наверное, кабинет Стэнли. 427. Вот он. Да, похож на наш кабинет. Ну что, пошли вперед?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Так, а где же? Ну, везде статус стоит оффлайн. Ничего не нажимается. Красная кнопка. Ее нельзя нажать. По-моему, бесполезно.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Так, выключить или включить? Выключить или включить? Давайте выключим. И на этом, по-моему, сам Стэнли перестал существовать, потому что его разум тоже контролировался.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Это, вероятно, очередная концовка. Ну, а изучать дальше мы тогда начнем с вами, или продолжим, лучше сказать, в следующей серии. Спасибо большое за внимание, надеюсь, вам нравится. Это очень забавная игра и очень необычная. Мне ужасное удовольствие она доставляет. Оставляйте комментарии, ставьте лайки. С вами была Ира. Пока-пока.